I kind of edited that so that it would be shorter, and it doesn't actually... I'm not a writer. Well, I am, but not. I wasn't a writer when I did this. It's a book that was actually recommended by Russell from the second or no. What? You guys, okay. Between this book, you guys, I'm super good at reading. I don't know if you knew this, but I like talk for a living. Yeah, next book must be my last. Nope, I've got two more. I can count, you guys. I can read, I can talk, I can write, and I can count. Just, I can't do any of those things when I'm in front of this camera making videos for this channel, apparently. Happy New Year, folks, and welcome back to my channel, Reading in the Dark. My name is Byron, and I read sometimes. And actually, the new year happened a month ago today, but I'm pretending it didn't. So yes, welcome back to Reading in the Dark. It is February 1st. Oh God, I hate that word. It is February 1st, 2020, and I am just now getting back to this channel. Sorry, I was gone for a minute. So basically what happens is, in December, and actually to a certain extent in October, I get really excited to, yes, read certain things, but primarily in December, I get excited about traditional movies that I watch for Christmas. And so I kind of segue into like movie watching mode in December. And just this year did I kind of figure out that that's something that happens to me and it gets in the way of my reading. And so I didn't read much in December. And this year I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm going to actually prepare myself for the fact that there's not going to be a ton of reading in December. That is sort of true in October as well, but less so because I feel like maybe scary, creepy reads are easier for me to get excited about than Christmassy reads. I don't know. So anyway, I'm back. It's February, and in the month of February, I'm going to be reading all books by authors of color for Black History Month. And this is something that I've been kind of excited about for a while. And so I'm just going to go down the list. I've only chosen, I think, 6 books for the month. 1, 2, 3, 6. Although really it's 8, but 3 of them are a trilogy of novellas. So I'm calling it one book. So I'm reading 8 works by authors of color in February in honor of Black History Month. There is actually, let me see, there's actually quite a bit of science fiction. No, there isn't. There's some science fiction. I don't know why I thought that. So the first book that I'm going to read, a lot of these books have been on my TBR before, but with only 6 books for the month, I think I can finally read them now. The first book is nonfiction, Hidden Figures. This tells the story of, well, I have a blurb written here, so I may as well read that. Hidden Figures, the never-before-told true story of NASA's African-American female mathematicians who played a crucial role in America's space program. There's a movie made out of this, of course, as most of you probably know. I like the fact that it has that sort of... It has that sort of like fabric-y paper on the cover, which is nice. Am I doing weird things? No? Okay, good. So yeah, during World War II, America's fledgling aeronautics industry hired black female mathematicians to fill a labor shortage. These human computers stayed on to work for NASA and made sure America won the space race. They fought for their country's future and for their share of the American dream. This is their untold story. So this is really exciting to me. I wanted to read this for a long time, and I've got... how many pages of awesomeness? Oh, there's an index. That's good. It is nonfiction. So it's not that long. It's only 265 pages. Excited about that book. That's going to be awesome. The next book on my list is for February is another book that's been on my list before. And this is an anthology of speculative fiction by authors of color called New Sons. Not News Sons. New Sons. Sons that are new. And I love where this title comes from. This is a quote from Octavia E. Butler. "There's nothing new under the sun, but there are new sons," proclaimed Octavia E. Butler. New Sons, original speculative fiction by people of color, showcases emerging and seasoned writers of many races, telling stories filled with shocking delights, powerful visions of the familiar made strange. Between this book, you guys, I'm super good at reading. I don't know if you knew this, but I like talk for a living. Yeah, between this book's covers burn tales of science fiction, fantasy, horror, and their indefinable overlappings. I should just do this whole thing again, but you know what? I'm not going to. This is real and raw. These are authors aware of our many possible pasts and futures, authors freed from stereotypes and cliches, ready to dazzle you with their daring genius. So this is awesome because I love science fiction and horror and all speculative fiction, and I love short story collections. And this collection, 271 pages, again, not as long as I thought. This has an introduction written by LeVar Burton, who is the actor from Star Trek The Next Generation and Roots and Reading Rainbow. Gorgeous cover, lots of great authors in here, and I'm excited to read these short stories. Those are my 2 physical books for this month, and the rest of my books that I'm going to read are on my Kindle. So I'm going to read the T Trilogy by Nnedi Okorafor. Binti, the second book is called Home, and the third book is called The Night Masquerade. Binti is a Hugo Award winner and a Nebula Award winner for Best Novella. Her name is Binti, and she is the first of the Himba people ever to be offered a place at Uzma University, the finest institution of higher learning in the galaxy. But to accept the offer will mean giving up her place and her family to travel between the stars among strangers who do not share her ways or respect her customs. Knowledge comes at a cost, one that Binti is willing to pay, but her journey will not be easy. The world she seeks to enter has long warred with the Meduse. Umza University has wronged the Meduse, and the Meduse is an alien race that has become the stuff of nightmares. I kind of edited that so that it would be shorter, and it doesn't actually sound very great now. But I'm not a writer. Well, I am, but not. I wasn't a writer when I did this. Binti's stellar travel will bring her within their deadly reach. She will need both the gifts of her people and the wisdom enshrined within the university itself to survive. But first she has to make it there alive. So, science fiction, cultural differences, it's gonna be awesome. The next book is Washington Black by Azia Dijan, which, again, has just been, that's not a reaction to the book, it's a reaction to the fact that I have had it on my list so many times. Washington Black is the Booker Prize nominee from 2018, and is very intriguing to me. It says, Washington Black is an 11-year-old field slave who knows no other life than the Barbados sugar plantation where he was born. When his master's eccentric brother chooses him to be his manservant, Wash is terrified of the cruelties he is certain await him. But Christopher Wilde, or Titch, is a naturalist, explorer, scientist, inventor, and abolitionist. He initiates Wash into a world where a flying machine can carry a man across the sky, where two people, separated by an impossible divide, might begin to see each other as human, and where a boy, born in chains, can embrace a life of dignity and meaning. So this book was all the rage when it came out in 2018. It sounds a lot like a white savior story to me, and I'm sure it's not. So I'm excited to see how that is the case, because it's just very loved by people, and no one said that it was that. Yeah, and it's got a fun cover, which we can appreciate here. It actually has 2 covers. It has this cover, and then it has this cover, which I like better, obviously, because it's just cool and it has steampunk stuff going on. And then is this the next book? Must be my last. Nope, I've got 2 more. I can count, you guys. I can read, I can talk, I can write, and I can count. Just, I can't do any of those things when I'm in front of this camera making videos for this channel, apparently. The second to last, or penultimate book in my list is a book that was actually recommended by Russell from a book that was actually recommended by Russell. The second or what? You guys, okay. The second or penultimate book in my list of reads for February is a book that was recommended by Russell from Ink and Paper blog on his YouTube channel, which I'll link in the cards here and below, called The Revisioners by Margaret Wilkerson Sexton. It's not called The Revisioners by Margaret Wilkerson Sexton. It's called The Revisioners, and it is by Margaret Wilkerson Sexton. In 1925, Josephine is the proud owner of a thriving farm. As a child, she channeled otherworldly power to free herself from slavery. Now, her new neighbor, a white woman named Charlotte, seeks her company, and an uneasy friendship grows between them. But Charlotte has also sought solace in the Ku Klux Klan, a relationship that jeopardizes Josephine's family. Obviously. Nearly 100 years later, Josephine's descendant, Ava, is a single mother who has just lost her job. She moves in with her white grandmother Martha, a wealthy but lonely woman who pays her grandchild to be her companion. But Martha's behavior soon becomes erratic and even threatening, and Ava must escape before her story and Josephine's converge. The Revisioners explores the depths of women's relationships, and I don't know who wrote that, but there's too many S's. Powerful women and marginalized women, healers and survivors. It is a novel about the bonds between a mother and a child, the dangers that upend those bonds. At its core, The Revisioners ponders generational legacies, the endurance of hope, and the undying promise of freedom. I think this cover is beautiful. Russell could not possibly have said more amazing things about this book. I'm super excited about that one. That's probably the one I'm most excited about, to be totally honest with you, because it's the newest book, and it was released November 5th, 2019. Yeah, I think that's the newest book on my list, so I'm excited about that one. The last book on my list is a book that everybody has read already, called An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. This was an Oprah's Book Club selection. It was on like Obama's reading list, and it was a National Book Award nominee in 2018. You guys, I think it's been so long since I filmed and my camera has so much dust on it that by simply turning it on, the dust is getting into my body. Yeah, so An American Marriage tells a very provocative... My laundry's done. Newlyweds Celestial and Roy are the embodiment of both the American dream and the New South. He is a young executive and she is an artist on the brink of an exciting career. But as they settle into the routine of their life together, they are ripped apart by circumstances neither could have imagined. In this deft exploration of love, loyalty, race, justice, and both black masculinity and black womanhood in 21st century America, Jones achieves that most elusive of all literary goals, the great American novel. All right, well, that was the most vague thing I've ever read. Wait a minute. What? Circumstances. What happens is he's accused of a rape. I believe we know he did not do it. We know exactly what happened and he did not rape this woman, but it's about the accusations and what that does to his life. And that's interesting. It's interesting to have someone tell a story about a man who was accused of rape who was innocent. In this day and age when so many men are seeming to kind of get off with very minimal punishment when they're guilty, and in a world where we find out how many men have gotten away with it in positions of power, that someone wants to tell a story about a man who is innocent. That's interesting to me, and I'm looking forward to that one. So there might be some heavy stuff going on here, and I'm thinking what I might do is take the 3 Binti novellas and sort of splice them in between some of this heavier stuff, between Hidden Figures and that, An American Marriage, and The Revisioners. Maybe I'll put the Binti Trilogy in there just to have some sci-fi goodness in between, but time will tell. We'll see what happens because I haven't been reading. I was going to read a Star Trek tie-in novel called Drastic Measures before February came around, but here we are, and that didn't happen. And I'm only reading books by authors of color this month, so that's just the way it is, and Star Trek will have to wait. In the meantime, I have Star Trek Picard that I am watching because Patrick Stewart. Oh, and on that topic, I actually started a second YouTube channel, just started it. This is not why I've been gone, called Sci-Fi Q. If you're at all interested in sci-fi, there's almost nothing on that channel yet. I uploaded one video. It is a review of the first episode of Star Trek Picard, which is on CBS All Access. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, you can check it out. I'll put a link to that video here in the cards and in the description below if you want to subscribe to that channel too. It's a very different channel, very different. You're not going to be seeing me on there. You're going to be hearing my voice, and it's all about science fiction because science fiction is a big love of mine. I'll talk about Picard on there quite a bit and some other Star Treks and some other sci-fi properties, and I'll even probably talk about some books on there. So that's my TBR, I guess you would say, for February. I'm sort of tired of the word TBR. It just seems so like, it makes me feel like I'm just like a member of a cult or like some weird club where we have our own words and terminologies, and TBR. You don't know what it means? Look it up. To be read. Those are my books to read in February. I'm excited about them, and if you have read some of these and you have comments, the comment box is your friend after all. Unless your comment is, that book sucks, don't read it, because I'm gonna read them. And if you have any other suggestions for me of books that I might want to read that are also by authors of color, that would be fantastic. Philip is sleeping on my pile of laundry that needs to be put away, and I'm going to do some housework. Why am I telling you this? You don't care. Those are my books for February. I'm excited about them. Do, once again, check out my other channel if you're interested in sci-fi. And until next time, I will be here in the dark reading. Bye, guys. Is that what I say now? I don't know what I say anymore. Goodbye.